Hello again fifth primary students. أهلا بكم طلبة وطالبات الصف الخامس الابتدائي ومراجعة جديدة لجميع ما سبق في مادة الرياضيات تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Okay, let's start our revision. The first question is choose the correct answer. Choose the correct answer. As we said before, in this type of questions, we need to show our work out and write the answer in the spaces. After that, we can circle or underline the right choice. Again, لازم الشغل بتاعي الستبس تبان, and I have to write the right answer in the empty space. Then my third step is to circle or underline the right answer. Okay, so now let's start. The first question: 3.36 kilometer equals how many meter? If you remember, we took this lesson, it was called the units of measuring. اسم الدرس units of measuring. Okay, so in this lesson we have certain steps that we have to follow to answer the questions. The first thing I have to check, I change the unit from the big one to the small one or from the small one to the big one. بمعنى إنه أنا ما ينفعش أكمبير أو أتعامل مع two different units. هنا هو already he asks us to convert from kilometer to meter. يبقى أول حاجة بسألها I convert from the big to the small or from the small unit to the big one. Here I convert from kilometer to meter. Here I convert from kilometer to meter, which is from big to small. From big to small, I multiply. From big to small, I multiply. From kilometer or kilometer to meter, I multiply by 1,000. Then here, 3.36 times 1,000. Okay, then I have to move the decimal point 3 places because I have 3 zeros. I have here 2 digits only, which are the 3 and the 6. Okay, what is the third place that I move the decimal point to? If I don't have a third digit, I put a 0 instead. So the answer will be 3,360 because I have moved the decimal point to the right hand side 3 places because here I multiply by 1,000. Kilometer to meter is from big to small. Now let's move to the second question. 9 and 3/25. This is a mixed number and I want to approximate it to the nearest tenth. I want to approximate it to the nearest tenth. So this is what I am going to do. 3/25, I will take it aside لوحدها على جنب في الرف work, and I will use the long division method عشان turn it to a decimal number. I have to turn this fraction to a decimal number and then I add it to the 9, which is my whole number, and then I approximate. Then when I divide the 3 by 25, it will give me 0.12. 0.12 plus 9 is 9.12. Okay, then here it's 9.12. This is the answer. And when I approximate it to the nearest tenth, my 10th digit here is the 1. My 10th digit here is the 1. And the 2 is the neighbor that I have to check to see if it's strong or week to see if it will change the 1. ال 2 هنا طبعا is one of the weak numbers because as we said إنه 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are weak numbers مش بتأثر على الديجيت اللي قبلها while أو الهاوس اللي قبلها while 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 دي strong numbers وبتخلي الهاوس اللي قبلها أو النمبر اللي قبلها بيزيد by 1. So here the answer will be eventually 9.1. Okay, number 3. 5 over 6 divided 1 and 1 over 6. To divide fractions together, we said this is going to be a bit hard and involve lots of steps that we can avoid by changing a division question into a multiplication question. So let's go to the board to see how we can do this. Okay guys, now let's discuss our question. We said that we have 5 over 6 divided by 1 and 1 over 6. Okay, before I start switching it into a multiplying question, first I have to deal with the mixed number here. I don't want any mixed numbers. I want them to be both fractions. Okay, then 5 over 6 divided by 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So it's 7 over 6. Now I can switch this to a multiplication question. Okay, so here, remember the rules that we said about changing a divided question to a multiplication question. When I have fractions, the first fraction tells me, leave me as I am. Then I go to the divided sign. It tells me, turn me to a multiplication sign 2 times. Then I move to the second fraction here and it tells me, please flip me upside down. Okay, then again. يبقى هنا هو قال لي أول fraction سيبيني زي ما أنا. ال divided sign حوليني to multiplication sign which is the times. And then the last fraction or the second fraction قال لي flip me upside down. الرقم اللي تحت هيبقى فوق واللي فوق هيكون تحت. Then I start to simplify. تاني قلنا when we simplify بنمشي بترتيب. So I start with the first numerator and I check if it can be simplified with any of these. 5. Can I simplify it with 6? No, they don't have any common factors. 5 and 7, do they have any common factors? No. Then I will ignore the 5. Now I'll move to the second numerator, which is the 6. And I'll check the second numerator and the first denominator. Okay. Do they have anything in common? Yes. Both of them are in table 6. So divided by 6, it will be 1. And divided by 6, it will also be 1. Okay. Now, do I have anything else in the numerators to change? No. Then I will write my final answer by multiplying. I multiply what is left for me. I multiply what is left for me. The numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. So here, 5 times 1 is 5 and 1 times 7 is 7. So this is my final answer. Now let's go back to finish our revision. Okay guys, so as we said, our answer is 5 over 7. Now let's move to question 4. The smallest number from the following is, and I have 4 choices in between brackets, 0.111, 0.12, 0.12, 0.123, and 1.023. Okay, so here, how to make up my mind which one of these is the smallest. أول حاجة ببص لها the whole number, النمبر اللي قبل الديسيمال point. هنا I want to choose the smallest one, not the biggest one. So if you look here, the whole number in the first number is 0, in the second one is 0, in the third one is 0, the fourth one is 1. So the fourth one I will neglect it. خلاص هignore it, مش هبص له أصلا لأنه الwhole number بتاعه أكبر من الثلاثة التانيين. يبقى my choice is one of the other three. طيب خلاص الwhole number الثلاثة زي بعض، هعمل إيه؟ I will check the first digit after or behind the decimal point. هبص على ال 10th place، أول place after the decimal point، وهقارن بينهم. In the first number it's 1, in the second number it's 1, in the third number again it's 1. يبقى خلاص مش هعرف أقارن لو استخدمت ال 10th place. يبقى هبص على ال 100th place, which is the second place after the decimal point. So here the first digit or the first number, in the first number it is 1, in the second number it is 2, بدأنا نلاقي اختلافات, and in the third number it is also 2. يبقى أنا عندي هنا 1, 2 and 2. طيب إيه أصغر رقم في الثلاثة دول؟ Of course the 1 is smaller than the 2. Then my choice is 0.111. This is my smallest number. Okay, now let's move to question 5. 10 times 4.72 and 100 times 0.472. And I want to know the relation between both of them. في حد فيهم أكبر من التاني أو هم equal to each other، ولو حد فيهم أكبر من التاني أو أصغر من التاني مين فيهم؟ طيب before I answer this question I have to finish it. I have to answer each number alone. I'll start with the first one. Here it's times 10. Times 10 or times means that I will move the decimal point to the right hand side. همشي ناحية اليمين. Okay? And here it's times 10. Times 10 it means that I will move it only one place to the right. So here the point or the decimal point will be moved one place to the right. So the answer will be 47.2. Now I will do the same with the other one. So it's here again times. So I will move the decimal point also to the right hand side, but this time I will move it two decimal places because I have two zeros here. So here I will move it one place and two places. So I will locate it between the 7 and the 2. So the answer will also be 47.2. As you see here, both numbers are the same, so I will choose the equal sign. Now let's move to more questions. And let's take these questions to the board. Okay, we will answer now the rest of the questions. So here in the first question, the shaded part represents what? The shaded part in these two sets represents X union Y. Why? Because here I shaded all the two sets. It means that I want all the elements in these two sets. So in this case, it's the union sign, because when I say two sets union each other, it means that I covered or I took or listed all the elements in these two sets. Okay, now let's move to the second question. This is the same way as the question that we have just answered a few minutes ago. The first one, 0.312 times 100, and then 312 divided 10. And I would like to decide on which sign here to choose. What is the relation between the two numbers? I have to answer the two numbers first, and then I'll choose the right sign. Okay? So here, 0.312 times 100. Again, I will move the decimal point 2 places because of the zeros to the right hand side. So this is going to be the answer for the first one, 31.2, because I have moved the decimal point 2 places to the right. And now the second one, this one is different because this is divided. So I will move the decimal point to the left hand side. But I don't have here a decimal point. How can I move it? We learned before that any whole number in the world was originally a decimal number, but with 0.0 after it. So this is mainly 312.0. Then when I move the decimal point 1 place to the left, I'll move it like that. So 312.0 will be 31.2. Okay, so here 31.2. Then the correct answer will be equal. Okay, now let's move to question 8. If the set Y equals the set of elements 2, 3, and 5, and it intersects the set of elements 1, 3, and 5, then the set Y is the intersection between these two sets. The set Y is the intersection between these two sets. And as you see, they intersect in 3 and 5. They intersect in 3 and 5. So 1 and 2 is not a part of set Y. Then here I want to compare between these two sets. When I am talking about two sets, this means that I am going to use either subset or not subset. And since the set of elements 1 and 2 is not a part of the set Y, then of course I will choose not subset. Now, the last question in this page. In the opposite figure, I have here two circles touching each other. So in the opposite figure, I want to know MN is what? I want to know MN is what? As you see here, this is a radius of 2 centimeters in the circle M. Then I want to know MN is what? Since this is 2 centimeters and it is a radius, M to this point also is a radius. So it will be also 2 centimeters. Now let's move to circle N. I have the radius here, 3 centimeters. Then this other radius as well is 3 centimeters. So here, if I want to know the length of MN, it will be 3 centimeters plus 2 centimeters, which is here 5 centimeters. Okay, so this is my answer, and this is how I have got it. Now let's go back to finish the rest. Here, choose the correct answer as well. Number 10, the length of the diameter of any circle is what to the length of any chord in it that does not pass through it. Okay, so here, the length of the diameter of any circle, as we said before, a diameter is the longest chord in a circle. So it is, of course, bigger than any other chord in the circle. Now, question 11. The set 0 is what to the set of elements 1, 2, 5, and 8? Set and a set, I will use subset or not subset. And here, the set of the element 0 is not found in the set of elements 1, 2, 5, and 8. So again, I will choose not subset because it is not a part of the other set. Now, question 12. The number 736.592 is approximately 736.59 to the nearest what? Now I'll check what is the number that we have eliminated. It is the 2. This means that I have approximated to the house that is just before 2. Okay? So here, this means that it is to the nearest hundreds. It is to the nearest hundreds. Now, the last question. If 2 over 3 equals 16 over C, then the value of C is what? Here, to do it, 2 times what gives me 16? 2 times what gives me 16? In table 2, 2 times 8 gives me 16. And I want to know the unknown C اللي هو أنا مش عارفاه ال C دي عايزة أعرف هي قيمتها قد إيه. As we said before, when I multiply by a digit on top, I have to multiply by the same digit at the bottom. Okay? فلو أنا عشان to get 16 on top, I had to multiply the 2 by 8. يبقى لازم عشان to get the C at the bottom, I have to multiply the 3 also by 8. If I multiply on top by 8, I have to multiply at the bottom at 8 by 8. So here, 3 times 8, this is the number that I am going to multiply by to get the C, is 24. Then here, the value of C after multiplying the 3 by 8 is 24. Okay, guys, that's all for now. We have covered several lessons. We repeated the explanation of these lessons briefly through every question, and we will try to cover the rest of the ideas in the rest of our sessions of the revision. Okay? Study well. See you soon. Bye.